My son is 12 years old. He still wears diapers. My son does not speak. My son cannot feed himself. My son does not know time. My son does not know weather. My son elopes. My son, like, he hits himself. He hits us. That is autism. I don't
Yeah.
believe that autism should ever been umbrellaed. And I'm going to
Right.
get
I
choked
agree.
up a little bit
I am too,
because
actually. I am. I'm
because
sorry.
it's really hard to see that all of these kids are
I,
making a mockery of what my son, like, when I die, nobody is going to be there. I'm so sorry. When I die, nobody's going to be there for my son. And I've had to fight so hard. Like, a principal locked my son in a closet for 20 minutes. He physically locked, and after he hit him, and it's all on video, and these kids were like, oh, I'm neurodivergent because it's cool. It's not right.
Hey everybody, I caught myself another one. It's going to be a good day. So, before I move forward, again, I always want to thank you so much. It means a lot to me that you're all watching this channel and really participating. And I'm building a community, or we are, and it makes me really happy because I have such a diverse, talk about diverse. Oh my God, we're really building diversity here. So it makes me really happy. And your comments mean a lot to me. They not only help the channel, they also mean a lot to me. And liking and subscribing really does mean a lot to me. So thanks with that. And now we're going to move forward to our interview today. And I have this amazing, beautiful person named Amber. And Amber is going to introduce themselves, and then we'll move forward with the interview. Hi, Amber.
Hi, I'm Amber, and I'm a woman who has been asking for a hysterectomy for a while now.
Wow.
And then I also am a special needs mother and advocate. So
Great.
autism is a big focus for me. So going into this trans world where a lot of kids with trans identifying factors that find themselves on the autism spectrum as well is kind of horrific, like horrifying in some manners, because autism is like a whole separate genre that we don't even understand as much now.
Yeah. Well, first off, thank you so much. I would like to get into the hysterectomy thing first, and then let's get into the autism because this is great. You actually have an autistic child, right?
Yeah, he's level for now because the DSM-5 changed. So there's two separate categories. Before there was just one. Now
Okay.
there's like a cognitive and a social acuity test, basically.
Oh,
So my son is a level 3 out of 3. So when
okay.
people say they need to gatekeep transgenderism, I feel the same way as gatekeeping the autism community, because that's something that's so important that people now are self-identifying as, and it makes it less valuable for therapists, psychologists, all of these things. It's really scary going into this like slippery slope, to be honest.
Wow, thank you for that. I 100% agree with you. It's all of a sudden this new generation. They're literally self IDing since they opened self ID for trans. That just opened the floodgate to all of the mental disorders that are available to us here. And it's as if and it's mostly a youthful generation that's just picking all of these sort of situations that are not a joke. Trans isn't and I'm not saying they think of it as a joke, but it's not something you want to have, yet these kids all want to have it. So you having this experience with your own child, and really what you said, level, I think 3, right? Or level, whatever. Yeah, 3 is the highest you can be
It's the most
diagnosed
severe.
as.
Yeah. He's
It's the most
nonverbal,
severe,
so he doesn't speak at
nonverbal.
all. And he's 12
Wow.
and he's incontinent, so that means he still wears diapers. So
Okay.
he's
Okay.
he's really generally like the like what autism is, what autism can be. And so it's kind of
That's right.
all these kids on TikTok that have hijacked, oh, I stim, but I could do this on beat. That's not stimming. My son, I could show you videos of my son. It's an echoic stimming, so he'll scream, ah, or he'll flap. because that's what his body is telling him to do. It's not something like, oh, I'm dancing, so I'm stimming. And it's really dangerous to have.
Wow.
It's kind of like, I don't know if you've seen the influx of people with Tourette's, kids with Tourette's on TikTok. And that's what this social contagion has become. It's not only going into gender. So once we talk about my thing with the hysterectomy, so I'm in the medical field, and I have a 2012 from when I was going to school, my PDR about Lupron and all of the side effects that they've been showing since 2012. It shows that it castrates kids. So I have all of this stuff.
Oh, wow. Wait, I have to stop.
Oh, it says it in
Wait,
here. In this,
wait.
this is the reference.
You have gold.
Yeah, it's right here. And it says it castrates children. And it's only supposed
What?
to be for
Wait,
30.
okay, so hold on.
So, because in my hysterectomy, this is from my own doctor. For myself,
Yeah.
who is a 31-year-old woman who's had 3 children,
Yeah.
I was told I'd have to ask my husband for permission to get a hysterectomy when I was 28.
What?
Yeah, and that was after my 3rd child. And I have a bleeding disorder called von Willebrand's disease.
Okay.
Kind of like hemophilia, where I don't clot. So my menstruation is horrible. I have painful side, like the cramps. I just bleed continuously for 3 years.
Wow.
I have to do all of these steps before I could get a hysterectomy.
I'm like, look at my face.
Yeah, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th one is Lupron. And that's only suggested for 6 months, injected once a month for 6 months, and that'll put me into menopause. So,
it literally says it.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And this is from my doctor. You could see her handwritten notes.
Totally.
And then also with the whole thing, so I'm not sure if it was because of the Lupron. So my doctor, I'm from Colorado. She's like one of the best OBGYNs in Colorado. She said, don't go on it. She even exited out for the Lupron. Do not go on that. Try everything before that. And she said that they gave a transgender 15-and-a-half-year-old a hysterectomy. And I'm not sure if that's because of the Lupron or the testosterone or what.
What the
Yeah. And let me
Wow.
and so this is one of the
Wow.
Lupron has over 17 pages, and I don't know if you could see how small this writing is.
Yep.
It has 7. This is how much Lupron pages is for the contradictions and side effects. But it says for precocious puberty, it's only supposed to be for 6 months. And for men, it castrates them. Let me just give you some of the side effects of Lupron.
Great.
And mind you, this is a 2012 edition, so
I don't care. That even makes it more powerful to me, because since 2012 they've known this is
that's when I
shit.
started going into the medical field, and that's when I got this. So
what's the name of that book? Sorry, what's the name of that book?
Physician Desk Reference. It's a PDR.
PDR.
And so it says asthenia, which is like body pain, general pain, headache, hot flashes, gastrointestinal, nausea, vomiting, GI, metabolic disorders. But the one that scared me the most is that keeps recurring, and no matter how you give it, intramuscular. So that the one that is everyone says goes into their leg, that's an intramuscular, or the pill form or any kind. Suicidal ideation is the highest thing, as well as
oh my God.
carcinogenic, infertility. Lupron, muscular, and then it did show like so decreased libido in women, and then in boys the gonads shrank. And so my doctor was saying what happens with a lot of the ovaries is they raisen up. And so that's why I'm thinking, like, if the testosterone made you go into your
It
atrophy.
did. It did. That's exactly what happened. Basically, it put me into early menopause. And when I did it 30 years ago, nobody was really doing it, especially a female, right? I'm taking high levels of testosterone, and it literally atrophied my whole reproductive system. Yet not one doctor could tell me what was going on until it was too late. So it's the same thing because when you take estrogen out of the female reproductive system, you're
You're
asking for it. That's right.
Yes. And so
Yeah.
there's so many, the contradictions are like way longer than anything else.
Wow.
Everything is libido decreased, respiratory, uterine dysfunction, urinary tract dysfunction, incompetence, impetus, testicular atrophy. I don't know if you could see it.
No, but you know what I would love if you could do? If you could take photos of that and send them to me.
Yeah.
I
And I
want to
want to
add
also
it.
show you where it says the castrating.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's why I'm wondering if a lot of these kids who go through this, a lot of their comorbidities of depression are these side effects from these drugs.
And it's heightening those side effects. I mean, it's
Right.
heightening those things, comorbidities that are already happening with these kids. So then they're putting out on Lupron, which is literally destroying their sexual reproductive, their sex drive, everything, everything.
That's why when I heard Brianna's story from you, it broke my heart. And I've
Me
watched
too.
all of her interviews with everything. For them to, so not only was she left with physician abandons, which she could sue for, but also it was malpractice of a child. So all the things that she went through as a child, she could still go after.
She is, I think.
I hope
I
so,
think
because
she is.
it's disgusting. Because I'm
It
in the
is.
medical journey, like I'm in the medical field, and I see and I go through this, and
Yep.
we need to
Yep.
know if you have a torsion in your penis. We
Right.
can't just stop that,
That's
you
right.
know.
Totally. There's a lot of things, but the fact that I mean, you just read off just I don't even the first thing you read off to me was the suicidal ideation.
Oh,
That
it's
in
everywhere.
Oh my god, no wonder these kids are so depressed and freaked out, and on top of it, they're giving them this insane medicine and then literally walking around saying, "It's irreversible." It's all the trans activists, all those Dylan Mulvaney, that idiot, what's his name, JVN, like people who aren't even actually trans saying stuff like this. "Oh, give it to the kids."
Well, that's
What?
what's crazy to me is because it only shows a 23-week study in this one, and Lupron is only one name brand. So
That's
this
right.
goes the PDR
That's right.
once you get it, it goes off of different. So like Pfizer is a name brand, Merck is a
That's right.
name brand. So they're all being sold under these different brands. So you don't know what you're getting.
That's
And
right. That's right.
this even shows like after a 24-week period, it castrates boys. It makes their ball sacks shrink so much. It's like a man on testosterone, like a bodybuilder on testosterone.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And so I would love to, I got to find a parent who put their child on this because I want to know if they're actually telling the parent all of these actual side effects.
Well,
I don't think they are.
no, because you couldn't go through all the. This is just, these are from drug manufacturers. They have to put this out here. So they
That's right.
have to do all the things. So VAERS, you could put your side effects on VAERS, which is the vaccine adverse reaction, but you could still put it on. They don't do anything because pharmaceutical companies can't get sued. Like that's why John F. Kennedy is a breath of fresh air because he sued Monsanto.
Yep,
He
right
goes
on.
after all of these things. And it's like you could be vax, no vax, whatever you want to be.
Sure.
But it's like when you have, there's so many black drug late like things, like their Mericide. They were giving
Okay.
that to mothers, and then
Okay.
there were kids that were born without arms and limbs.
Flamita. My friend is one of
That's
those
that.
people. Yeah,
Yes,
flamita. What is it called?
it starts with a TH, the male.
Yeah, I can never
Yeah,
pronounce it.
me either.
Flamitified or something. Yeah, but you're right. I used that actual example, I think, in one of my lies, and I was saying they gave that stuff to mothers, and they all had babies that came out all messed up, and then they stopped it. So this is exactly what's going to happen with this puberty. All these kids are going to be screwed up, and then all of a sudden they're going to go, "Whoops, we better stop doing this." But what if it's your kid? What
Right,
if it's your kid? Now
right,
what?
right. And that's why Sweden and all of these other countries that everyone looks to. And to be honest, the Nuremberg trials, if you want to go like in depth into all this medical guinea pigging,
That's right.
these are all Joseph Mengelas, if you want to
Unbelievable.
be truthful about it all.
That's right.
These are
That's right.
all of these, all of this,
That's right.
they should, people should start suing, especially these
They are. They
transitioners,
are. They
because
are.
even a civil lawsuit, because I advocate for a lot of people to do civil lawsuits against school districts mainly,
Great.
but
Great.
they should all come together and go against this, because
Great.
what are they doing to you? And I aren't going to be here very long, and I
That's
have a
right.
child who is going to need the system. What if someday something happens to him and they sterilize him? They were sterilizing kids with special needs not too
That's
long
right.
ago in the
That's right.
60s, and black people, all
That's
these
right.
things. They were
That's right.
sterilizing mothers, and the Tuskegee, like this,
That's
whatever,
right.
the syphilis thing. They had
That's right.
penicillin and they couldn't give it to. It's crazy that how far medical will go.
Oh, they have no ethics, no morals, none of it. They are 100% based on money. That's all they care about
Yeah.
is the what do you call it, the base, or how much
Oh
money
yeah,
they're going to
well
make. That's it.
that's how you find out anybody's like how they feel is you follow the
That's
money.
right. Follow the money. And
Follow the
it's so
money.
obvious what's happening right now. And it's sick. It's actually sick that we are having this conversation about something about children who have nothing wrong with them. These
Right.
children have nothing wrong with them. They just are maybe dressing like a boy or dressing like a girl, saying I'm trans, or
Well, do you
there's
remember when
nothing.
goth kids were cool? Or like
Yes,
goth kids were the
that's
thing that
right.
everybody, or
That's
the
right.
jocks, and there were
Yep.
so many separations. And that's what scares me. So
Yeah.
my friend she's a doctor in education, and that's who I was talking about. And she was saying that she's witnessed so many like older kids do this because they're getting the accolades. And
That's right.
that's why kids with autism, they have true autism. They're born into a world of therapy that is praise based, and
Oh,
it's you learn to be social. You're not social. So it's like you're
okay.
learning to be into this thing. And so that's what I think kids with autism, why it's such on a rise, is because you are going with what is in style. Because like my
Right.
son is taught all of his social norms. He wouldn't be able to live in a world that is normal, quote unquote. He
Okay.
is taught all of his normalcy from us, from his therapist. Mind you, he's in over 30 hours a week of therapy plus 40 hours of school in a
Wow.
specialized school. So he gets a lot of it. And these people who are like, oh, I'm neurodivergent. That's why umbrella, like putting an umbrella over all of these things really has sickened me. Like the DSM-5 changed. And so now
I know.
Asperger's is a part of ASD, which it should have never been.
Nope. I
Like,
totally agree with you.
like there's so many kids with Asperger's who are just a little bit socially awkward. I'm
Yeah.
socially awkward. I don't know how to,
Yeah. We
I'm
all are.
really right. Exactly. Everybody.
Yeah.
Like my
Everybody.
husband would be considered on the autism spectrum if he was going by today's standards,
Yeah.
because he has OCD and he stims
Yeah.
sometimes.
What's
But
STEM?
so stimming is like
STEMmy.
my son flaps, but it's like a rigid flap. So it's kind of, I would describe it more as a seizure. where it's uncontrolled. Now you see on TikTok, all these people are like, oh, I'm stimming. This is a stim. And it's not a stim. This isn't a stim. I can show you, Buck, videos of my son stimming where he flinches his whole, he clenches his whole body and
Yeah.
he goes into it. It's like an uncontrollable thing, like an actual
Right.
seizure. And
Right.
so there was these hysterics in like the 2012s when I was working in the ED, that all these girls, and it was weird that it was predominantly girls, would come up with tics saying that they had Tourette's. But that's when
Wow.
all of this Tourette syndrome started coming out on TikTok, on social media.
Right.
And it is conformity. And
It's crazy.
it's so sad is what it is.
Do you think these kids have some form of autism that are doing this?
I don't
And yeah.
I'm a I'm gonna be real honest and really
Please,
kind
that's
of mean.
what.
I'm
No, it's
going
not
to
mean.
gatekeep autism where I don't
Yeah.
think if
Yeah.
you're awkward or if you
Yeah.
think different or if you can't be in a social room that you
Yeah.
have autism. My son
Right.
is 12 years old. He still
Yeah.
wears diapers. My
Yeah.
son does not speak. My son cannot feed himself. My son does not know time. My son does not know weather. My son elopes. My son, like, he hits himself. He hits us. That is autism. I don't
Yeah.
believe that autism should ever been umbrellaed. And I'm gonna
Right.
get
I
choked
agree.
up a little bit
I am too,
because
actually. I am. I'm
because
sorry.
it's really hard to see that all of these kids are
I know.
making a mockery of what my son, like when I die, nobody is going to be there. I'm so sorry. When I die, nobody's gonna be there for my son, and I've had to fight so hard. Like a principal locked my son in a closet for 20 minutes. He physically locked, and after he hit him, and it's all on video. And these kids were like, "Oh, I'm neurodivergent because it's cool. It's not
Oh
right."
my God. Oh
I'm
my God.
sorry.
No, it's okay. It actually, you know, the emotions are important for me, and it's why I cry with you because there's a lot here. First off, personally, for you to have a child like that is so. I'm a parent too, and I just, I feel for you because it's not easy what you're having to deal with, but you're such a loving, beautiful mother. I can tell. I just met you, but I can tell. And to struggle with what you have to struggle with, and then to see these people making sort of mockery and choosing to have autism is so on so many levels so wrong and so disrespectful and so just ugly and nasty and
It's like
um
the same as if somebody was like, "Oh, I have Down syndrome." It's different because you can't see
that's right.
that physical description of Down syndrome, and so everybody could claim this, and that's what's
That's right.
all it is like the socialness of
That's right.
having a disorder, and it's like it's not cool.
No,
It's
God,
not
no.
cool.
Why
I
would they
pay
think that's cool?
$150,000 a year for my son's therapies and his
My
schooling.
God. My God.
And so me and my husband have to work our asses to the bone
Yeah.
to provide. And we have two other kids.
Oh, you have two other
And
kids.
like the reason why
Wow.
we like, and I feel bad sometimes, but I always tell my daughter, you're going to have to take care of Noah when he's older. Like, you're going to have to take care of him.
I know, I know. It's heartbreaking for me to hear your story on so many levels because it also makes me so mad, Amber, that these kids are getting away with this stuff and nobody's pushing back on them. And like, where are the fucking adults? Where are they? And why are we letting? And so that's why I do this. You know that, Amber. It's why I do this. And it's not just trans. It's stuff like this, right? That's starting to upset me as an elder and an older person who did struggle. Right? I struggled different way, but I did struggle to
No,
find my
exactly.
true
To just be in the
self.
world, to
That's
fit
right.
to fit normally, to fit comfortably. My son will never
That's
have
right.
that opportunity.
Never,
And these
never.
kids could write on the internet, TikTok, and do all this stuff. My son doesn't
That's right.
understand the use of a computer. My son doesn't
Yeah,
understand this.
yeah,
And it's just sad that self ID
yeah.
has got us to this point
So
where
gross.
you could say whatever the hell you want and you get to be treated as you want. No, my
Yes.
son's diagnosis took 11 hours for me to get.
Wow.
So so insurance could cover some of it. Just like you had to fight so insurance could cover your mental
And
disorder.
guess what? It never did. It didn't start, 31 years ago, I transitioned. We did not have insurance for this.
Right.
I fought to get this into the insurance space and we got it there. And now we have these idiot kids going, it's not a mental disorder, blah, blah, blah. And that, you know what that does? It immediately takes it out of the insurance space because now it's an elective, right? You're choosing to transition. And they're going to do the same shit with other kind of things like autism and all that. They're going to be like, oh, well, maybe you can just say you have autism. It's
Well,
very
that's how it is.
dangerous.
We've been on a waiting list for one of his ABA therapies because
What?
all these other kids who just ID as it, they haven't even
Ugh,
had an actual diagnosis, are
ugh.
getting it first.
That okay, there you go. Everybody, did you just hear that? Lay that also over top of trans, okay? There are kids out there who are using the trans space, getting top surgery, getting hormones, getting and then detransitioning. That could have been given to an actual real trans
Right.
person. Now trans people are waiting in line for years to get what they need because people who don't really need it are being put ahead of the people who actually need it. This is why self-ID is a fucking dangerous. Wake up. And then kids are self-IDing with what her actual child and she sees every day. Can you imagine how fucking that's me and you are in the same space, Amber. It makes me very mad when I see this the same way it makes you because I'm like, what? I struggled. You can't just go on TikTok and say I'm trans and then next thing you're trans. It's the
Well,
same
the thing
thing
with
with
children is like you have kids who obviously don't even understand their whole entire cognitive space.
that's right.
And that's one thing that I've learned. Like, I never worked pediatrics except like a clinical route that I had to do.
Okay.
And it was just terrible because you would get behaviors from kids, and then
Yeah.
you have all these kids. I'll link this back, like, just so it's like making a round conversation, so it's not just all focused on trans.
Right.
But
Yeah.
kids are committing burglaries and all this stuff because older people tell them to do it because they won't get in trouble so harshly. They don't have that frontal cortex. Or
Wow.
kids are like, there was a video saying that should kids get tattoos? Absolutely not, because that's permanent. It says right here that this castrates kids. It
It
castrates
actually
kids.
says it. I
Castrates.
need you've got to send me a picture of that,
Oh,
Amber.
I will. I'll
I
send you
need
all of
that.
it.
That is like so powerful.
Well, even like the testosterone one, it said that kids can't take it. Adolescents aren't allowed to take it.
It
And this,
says it
this
right on
is
the
20,
bottle.
yeah, and this is 2012. And it's like kids aren't allowed to take this, but they're giving it to kids.
Yeah, all of a sudden now somehow it's safe. Somehow, even though they did nothing to change it,
No.
nothing to do. It's the same thing it was in 2012. Now in 2024, you can take it and it's reversible. I'm like, what?
Well, I watched that interview you did with the kid who transitioned at 12,
Yeah,
the young guy,
yeah,
and he hasn't ever had a pap smear.
never.
That's scary.
And no one told him to, only
No,
me.
and they still
Thank you for
haven't.
reminding me. Thank you for reminding me. I'm actually
Oh,
gonna
yeah, I
text him
just
after
watched
we're
that
off
and
the
I
phone.
was blown away. They didn't give ultrasounds. They didn't see if there was
Nothing,
fibroids. And it
nothing.
even in this Lupron one, it says that you have to give it every 6 weeks to do a check. And this
Wow.
was for the ones that were, and it was never for males, precocious males. It was always for
Wow.
precocious females. In this, from the drug company, the drug company is Abbott. They said that every 6 weeks they have to come in for a scan, and it was for only females. The males were never, until it got to men, which is men after puberty.
Because it is actually used to castrate men in
It
prisons or
is.
where.
It
That's
has
right.
been. And it's been,
That's right.
I went and I looked at three different studies on MedPub and another site, and it
Mhm.
said that this was what they gave to rapists and
That's
child
right.
molesters. And
That's
there
right.
was over like 17 studies that I read through,
Mhm.
and all of the contradictions were the testes basically shriveled up
That's right.
and the libido was gone. So
Right.
imagine never having a libido in the first place. That's why
That
Brianna, I felt so bad for her story.
Oh my god, it's heartbreaking. She
Right?
even said, she said, "Why did they not just let me go through my puberty? I might have been just a gay man." She said that. She could have
Yeah.
just been a gay man now, and maybe that's what she really is, but now she can never be that person, ever. She's gonna have to figure out how to live her life this way, never having sex. She doesn't even have emotional feelings towards people. She has
And the only
no
way to do
desire.
that would be to fill her up with testosterone, which she doesn't want, obviously.
Nope. Nope. That's right.
Because
That's right.
estrogen is this, it's called agestin, is what they use, and it's basically like a testosterone replacement for
Oh.
hysterectomy to before hysterectomy use.
Oh, wow, I had no idea that
And
they
it
did
even
that.
says that once you get the Lupron and a hysterectomy, so a lot
Yeah,
of males, you will need to have a vaginal estrogen if you want to lubricate yourself,
that's right.
and then a
That's right.
dilator use, laser, progesterone, which is a vaginal. So there's so many things that you would have to do even after a hysterectomy and Lupron.
They're not telling I had that
Informed
situation happen
consent
to
is
me.
the biggest thing because it's part of your
That's right.
PHI.
That's right. And they're not telling young trans men that you might atrophy, that you better use a vaginal suppository, like a estrogen suppository, or you better take an estrogen supplement. If they
Yeah.
would have told me all that, I never would have had any of those problems. They're still not telling these young trans guys this.
Well, and a big thing too is the ovaries can wrap around your colon basically, and
That's
you
right.
die. You die
And you
within
die.
5 days of that.
Oh
So
my
there's so
god.
much medical things that are
My god.
happening that I'm so surprised that the FDA would
That's right.
clear
They're
every,
not. Wait,
like
wait, wait.
even the
They're
WHO,
not.
the
They're not clearing it.
CDC.
They're not
Well,
clearing it. That's the thing. That this is not FDA approved. Lupron is not FDA
no,
approved for.
it's black boxed.
That's
And
right.
so that's the same as a bunch of the pills that they were trying to give me instead of, and I was like, I'm not going to use them off label because it doesn't
That's
show
right.
the contradictions of it, so I
Good for
don't want
you.
to. And but the CDC that claims and the WHO that claims that they're all knowing,
Ugh,
they're not
ugh.
government entities, you know that. They're
Of course I do.
they're
Th-
money backed.
Money backed. There you
Money
go.
backed.
How
And
do we trust them? The
who
Who? The Who is out of control. Do you see the shit they're doing? They're just like, do it. Everybody transition. Everyone. That one person
look at
said all kids.
Del
What?
Bigtree. Del Bigtree. He was a producer on The Doctors. He's I'm one of those, so and
Wow.
I'm in the medical
Just
field.
wow.
That's what's funny is I'm I'm in the and so because I'm in the medical field, I know some of these things,
Wow. That's right.
and I've seen
Awesome.
them.
Awesome.
Yeah, and like
Just awesome.
my sister she's a paramedic, and she went to a guy who basically, like, I don't know if you heard that Matt Walsh thing, where he
Right.
goes, it was just on a snippet. I don't really listen to him much because
It's okay. Yeah, he's a
but
little bit he's all over the place, whatever. He's
right,
a kind of a hater, but
it's
whatever.
contradiction, some of it,
Yeah, I agree. I feel like he's kind of a misogynist, but at the same time, he's all like, "What's a woman?" And I'm like, "What, dude?"
right. Well,
He's all, yeah, totally.
so well, he was telling that one paramedic that was like, "Oh, if you're bleeding for my sister actually encountered that in Denver 2 weeks ago.
Wait, what?
A
What?
guy
Tell
said
me.
he was having his
Period?
menstruation. Yes. He said he was menstruating. He had stabbed
You're
himself
fucking
32
kidding me.
times in his
What?
penile region. Yes.
And then he was saying that it was his period. Is he
Yes.
trans?
Yes.
Is there a story somewhere? Is this written up somewhere in the paper or
Oh,
anything? You
I will
send it.
actually, I'll send you the thing where it says man cuts off penis.
Please send it to me. Oh my
It's
God.
on, but you
What?
can't show where it comes from.
Never. I would
Okay.
never let that happen. So don't
But
worry.
yeah,
I have you very.
yeah, I'll send
No
that
one
to you.
knows where you're at.
It's
So
the
yeah,
funniest thing. It shows
it's
that
not even funny. It's sick. Are you kidding me? These people are actually mentally ill.
they are, and people are just continually saying that they're okay.
That's right.
And
Petting
the
them.
only medication he was on was estrogen and a form of birth control, basically.
He literally is insane. And we're
I'll
like,
show you.
oh,
It comes up as a little text from the ambulance.
I'm just, what the fuck? I can't believe this wasn't all over the internet. I'm shocked because
Oh, because you can't do it. I'm you can't
this
change
stuff
it.
has no, this stuff has to be exposed, not where it's at. I don't care about the location. I don't care about any
Oh
of that. I
yeah,
care about the fact that this person is so mentally ill that they're stabbing themselves in the penis and
to say
saying
they
they're
have a
getting their
period.
period. How is that okay?
Yeah,
I never did anything like that ever, right?
it,
And I struggled, but I didn't stab my vagina and be like, I have a penis.
well,
Like,
and then when
what?
you were talking about the tampons in
Pisses me off.
oh well, I was just thinking like all of these awards are going to men, and I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, you guys must really be crushing it out there, like. I was like, no
Right
wonder I'm
on.
in the kitchen and making you food.
You've gone back a million years. Stay in the kitchen where you belong. We'll take care of everything. We'll even take care of your periods for you.
Right. Well, and that's the funny thing is like they called my husband for my hysterectomy. I know that's a little bit personal. And my husband's like,
But
it's not my body. Why the hell do I care?
I mean,
Like,
I am show. I am actually Amber. The fact that you had to get the authorization from your husband is so misogynist. I like. I want to puke
but a 15-year-old can get a hysterectomy
if
at
they
the
say they're
same
trans.
hospital.
If they say they're trans.
Yeah, and it's a Catholic organization too. That's what's crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn money. It has to
Yeah.
be because it's not
Yeah.
their principle. It's not their morals in
No.
any way, shape, or form.
And when I asked about a
Wow.
vasectomy for my husband,
Right.
they they said that he would have to wait till he's 42, and he'd have to
What?
either, yeah, there was never any part of my consent for it,
That's
but
my point.
only if he wanted to get another person pregnant.
That's my point. Men can get vasectomies and they don't have to
Mhm.
ask their partners and they don't ask you, well, are you sure you don't want to have babies? Are you sure? They don't give you the third degree like they do to women, right? They give you the
Right.
third fucking degree. Are you sure you want to do this? Bitch, I'm standing here telling you I want to do
Right.
it. What part of
After
I want to do it?
after 3 kids that are 12 years apart, you kinda know, right?
I hear you, friend. I hear you. I can, yeah, totally. 100%.
Sorry,
It's
this
your
is
choice.
right, this is all over the place, but going
No, it's
back
great. The
to
interview's great. The interview's
sorry,
great.
I just hate, like, because sometimes I don't want you to be the only one talking because I know it's kinda awkward, but
No, no, don't worry about it. This is all good. Are you kidding me? You're giving me gold, and not me, us, the world, all of this information. I mean, my God, thank you so much. I'm just going to thank you for being here and giving
oh,
yourself
we
to
had a
us.
lot of crazy things, like, when I, was doing rounds at a nursing home too, there was a couple people that were saying they were trans, and it was just to get more medication because the testosterone raises, um
That's right. The
and
libido.
yep, and so women were doing that, but then chlamydia went around a lot, like,
Because they're having sex
all the time, and
all
so
the time. We know
so
that.
women who were really women but wanted the
Wow.
testosterone to
Couldn't get it.
they got it saying they were trans, but then, it was just to have sex with the only, like there was only, like, 2 guys in the whole wing.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, there was, like, 24 cases of chlamydia in a month.
Oh no, I know this, and that's the thing is, I thought to myself one time because I'm very sex positive and I'm around that situation. I thought, why are we not talking to these homes about the fact that they are having? My partner worked in old. She goes, they're all having sex.
All of
That's
them.
right. there's a ton of STDs, there's all kinds of stuff happening, but no one's talking about it. And I'm like, why don't we just bring condoms there and like teach them how to use condoms? And just that alone would help the situation.
Do you
What?
remember that MLM scheme, that peer romance thing?
No, tell me. I'm not sure.
Oh, it was like where it was like an MLM. It was kind of like Mary Kay, but they sell
Okay.
dildos.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Right. I think so. Yeah.
we tried
Yeah.
to get one of them to come just to
Yeah.
say like, "Oh, you could use this instead of,
Yeah.
hooking
Instead
up."
of that's right.
But
Masturbation.
no, they wouldn't allow
They
that.
wouldn't
The
allow it. That's
activity
right.
coordinators wouldn't allow it.
But
But
it's so old fashioned. Like these are people, adults. They want to have sex.
mhm,
Who cares? But the fact that they're getting chlamydia and STDs, that's not cool. That sucks.
this
And
is
then they know.
sorry, I was just reading off more of
No,
it.
go more. Read
A
it.
lot of the things too show osteoporosis from the lupron and from the
That's right.
testosterone and high levels of estrogen. And so you have to worry
Wow.
about that and coronary heart disease, which
That's right. Oh wait, I lost you. I lost your audio. I don't hear you. There, now I got you. Right. Don't
must have
worry.
gone out.
Don't worry. Yeah, go on.
I was just saying it must have, because of the osteoporosis and all this, and how long are you even going to make it in order to get to this old folks home to be sexually active in the old
That's
time?
right. That's right. No, it's actually so we don't there's not a lot of well, first off, there's not a lot of long-term studies on what all this shit does to our bodies. Secondly, I'm one of the oldest trans people out there, and I get no respect from a community that thinks it's all about making sure people are happy. That's how you can tell it's all bullshit. It's all an agenda. It's all some kind of like indoctrination, and these kids are
Oh my
being
gosh, no.
indoctrinated. Yeah,
The euphoria screams like mental instability,
that's
because
right. That's
there's
right.
that would get you into, you could get Baker's Act on this trans euphoria, 5150 hold.
Oh,
If
you
you're,
can't.
yeah, you could, because it would be like a delusion and you could get 5150 onto it. And
Wow.
so a lot of these people who are like, oh my gosh, sorry. I'm gonna skip to another
That's
point. Can I? I'm so
it's all
sorry.
good.
I wish we had like 7 hours.
I know, me too.
But
We'll
the
have you back
whole,
because you are gold, friend. You have so much amazing information. I really
I
just
have a
want to
lot of
thank you.
medical side of it, and I could even bring you in my friend who's a doctor. She has 2 PhDs, and hers is from
Amazing.
education, and
Amazing.
we could talk and do this, because she sees all of like the high schoolers, and she also works in a rescue mission where they basically give a lot of the rights or a lot of the homes to this certain LGBTQ,
Wow.
um,
Wow.
instead of families, and a lot of
Wow.
them are drug users that come into her rescue. And
Just wow.
so does that compute with the mental crisis that's going on with it? And another thing that I was going to say is I'm going to use his name, and I hope you don't get flagged. It's really scary.
Yep.
And
He
it's not
totally
just
is.
on the pedophilia side or grooming
Yep.
side,
Yep.
but to dissolve your family is a huge break in trust from somebody who is in that.
That guy's a I don't care what anybody says. Now I'll blank that out because we're not allowed to say. But that being said, he is. I don't care what anybody says. And I've watched that guy for years. He didn't just pop up out of nowhere. He's been around for a long time. But now he found his platform where he can be the creep that he is. He's a creep. And I
Oh, yeah.
cannot wait until he gets nailed. Just get
So,
rid of
like,
that.
a lot of people say that it's red pill or whatever to have a nuclear family, but so my sister is a lesbian,
Okay.
and so she has her wife for a while that raised their son, my nephew,
Yeah.
was a judo champion. And
Wow.
so
Awesome.
yeah, she's
Awesome.
amazing. And it's like the nuclear family just consists of two parents who love
That's right.
the person, and it doesn't matter if it's boy, boy, girl, girl,
Nope,
man,
that's
woman.
right.
It just means two people who
Yep.
can provide support for the child, right?
It means a solid family unit.
Exactly.
Okay, I am a transsexual man, a biological female who's married to an actual biological female. We have a child and we're going to have another child. I'm in a nuclear family. So,
Yeah,
what the
exactly. That's what
fuck?
I mean. It's
Yeah,
just so like so trying to break up the cohesiveness of the nuclear family
yeah,
is what's scary because then
scary.
the child gets to fall into this rabbit hole of who's going to accept me on what
That's right.
platform I land.
That's
Is it
right.
going to be tics with Tourette's? Is it going to be autism with stims? Is it going to be transgenderism with cutting off my boobs?
That's right.
And it's like, which could you
Wow,
land on? And so all
that's
of these
right.
parents who get affirmed saying, "Do you want a dead son or a live daughter?"
No.
It's very manipulative,
Yep.
and um, a lot of the times it's not even like how long has that person been practicing and what are they
That's
getting
right.
paid from? Are they getting paid? A lot of Medicaid funders are paying for it now too, which is
Wow.
taxpayer
Wow.
money.
That's right.
And
That's
so
right.
it's like, why don't I get to choose if I choose a child getting their breast cut off?
But also, if they're going to pay for people doing these types of situations, now there's some people who really need these surgeries. It's very small, though. This is what's happened. Transsexualism, mental disorder, is small. It's always been small. It's why you never saw very many of us until this whole new social media contagion came about. You can just look at it. You don't have to be a brain surgeon to look at it, and it
Right.
just exploded. And now all of a sudden, all these kids are getting surgeries, and there's a huge amount of money laid on the table here. So, like we started out the conversation, it's always about the money. People don't care about these kids. They don't care whether or not these kids are happy. One out of maybe 100 of these kids might be actually trans. But now we're just doing every kid and taking every kid's breasts off who say, I want my breast removed. And it's going to be the biggest medical scandal ever. You
Yep.
watch. No
And
doubt.
yep, just like the Cutter incident with the polio vaccine and all of this other things.
That's
Is
right.
it's just really honestly it's scary
Sad. It's sad.
because um all we put our trust into the medical field and when you don't get informed and
Yep.
there's been a lot of studies saying that surgeons are like psychopaths because who
Oh,
else
they
would want to?
are.
Yeah, exactly. There's been like 5 studies showing that they have psychopathic tendencies.
And narcissists. You can
Oh
literally,
yeah.
especially surgeons or people who have a specialty, right? They are such insane narcissists. You can just feel it. But why do we put so much trust in doctors? They're practicing medicine. People forget that. Why aren't you getting look? If they came to me and said my kid was trans, right? I would be like, okay, well, let me get a second and third opinion about that. Why are people just going to one doctor, right? If you have cancer, I hope you're going to another doctor or maybe having them check to make sure the first doctor is diagnosing you correctly.
It'd be like if your arm was bent this way, would you say, "Oh, it's fine. Let me
That's
just
right.
go and do it." So yeah, it is.
That's right.
And Marcy Bauer started in Trinidad, Colorado,
I know. I'm very
which is
familiar with her. Yeah.
yeah, and there's been a lot of people who have said like been upset with her work.
Because she's
And then
lied. She lied and she's deceitful and she totally made shit up. But she backtracked on some of that stuff.
the Tanner stage 12 is crazy too, where or 4 or whatever. And it's like judging puberty by this and this and this. My
I know.
12-year-old is ahead of puberty and
Wow.
it's like you Jazz Jennings, poor thing,
Oh my
she
God.
couldn't even get to any of these stages.
That's right.
No wonder
That's
she's
right.
depressed.
Oh my God, you can just look at that poor young thing, and she's a mess. And I'm friends with Jazz. I remember Jazz from years and years ago, but she just like the whole. It's not her; it's the people around her that have completely fucked with her.
Well, and then the money aspect of that too.
There
They
you
get a
go.
bunch of money from their
That
donors
TV
for the
show.
site, the
That
yep,
show is how long? How many seasons has that show been on? Do you know?
right.
Like
And would you
12.
think What would you think if a mother was saying that to their daughter? "Oh, I'm gonna shove that in you until you."
Oh, man, it's so embarrassing and
Their
gross and
their
wrong.
AFAB daughter.
Oh god, and that AFAB thing, they're all trying to gaslight us and trying to make us look like we're all just like including me, a transsexual, including me. They're like, "Wait a minute here, you were not born a female. Just so you know, I lived half my life as a female, and I'm still a female, I just don't look like it."
Well, what's funny too is my husband, he's like he was brought up in a small island, so he was never, like, around, like, a lot of gay people,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Oh, look at Buck Angel stuff, he's doing this," and he's like, "Yeah, I could totally understand your
Right
position
on,
on it."
right on.
And so
Thank you.
for him to come from this. Can you see me?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
For him to come from this, like, smaller location and
I just
not.
lost you.
Hello?
I just lost you. Are you back? There
I'm
you are.
here. Can you see
Okay,
me?
great. Great, great, perfect.
Okay.
Okay, go on.
But for him to come from, like,
Oh,
a
now I
small
lost you
thing
again.
and understand what it means to fully be,
I lost you again.
like, a transsexual, like you claim, instead of, like, what other people are doing, like that one who's like, if you don't let me in the bathroom, I'll shoot you." It's
I
it's
what
so
the
crazy, right?
It's actually messed up because I worked so hard along with other people like myself to just get part of the world and for you to like us. And now everybody fucking hates us because we have wing nuts like, "I'm trans. I'm gonna just," it's crazy. And all the new trans community wants to kill everybody.
I know. It's just something that I think that everybody needs to start, like, really looking into what is
Yep.
going on with it all.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. You know, um, we're gonna end soon here, but listen, you gave me and us so much incredible information. I didn't know some of the stuff about Lupron, though I know the basics, but I didn't know this stuff, which you told us. And I think
Oh,
now we have some gold and some pushback.
yeah, I'll send you all of this
Great.
where my phone is kind of weird.
It's okay.
I'll totally send you all of this,
Great.
where it even says that it castrates the men, and then I could send
Yeah.
you the part where it showed him stabbing himself in the genitals.
Oh my god, I am so disgusted. It's just not okay. That is actual mental illness right there. And we're letting people with mental illness just run amok as if it's okay and no one's saying anything. It's not okay. And mental illness sucks and it's not okay to just let people go crazy with their mental illness. They need to help.
Well, and with the disorders being how they are, in order for you to get some kind of help and some kind of hope, there needs to be something on the books, but it shouldn't be everybody who thinks that they have this or
That's right.
think that they have something be
That's right.
able to
Access it.
distinguish it. Right, exactly, because
Yes.
they're not doctors, they're not therapists, but because you
Nope.
took a 2-minute um quiz on Google that you get to you get to say this.
No,
So
it's
that's
true.
what's kind of frustrating is that
Yeah.
everybody thinks that there's something and it's cool to be something. ADHD, anxiety, everybody has anxiety. Who doesn't have anxiety?
That's
And
right.
that's the one thing that kills me now is everybody has to have something in order to fit in because conformity is basically like the wild child of the 60s, right? And
Well,
so
we actually regressed. We regressed 'cause we were going so good. Girls could be, walk around looking like boys. Boys could walk around looking like girls. You didn't change your sex. It was all fucking
no,
cool. Like, just do your shit. My son had hair down to here, right? Like, it was
my
like, who
son
cares?
still, my baby has
Yeah.
mid-length hair and
Awesome.
we don't cut
Awesome.
it.
Well,
And
my
people
son
call me,
he started getting misgendered and it was freaking him out. And I'm just like, sure, dude, cut
oh,
your hair. And you know what I mean? So anyway, friend, listen, I appreciate you a ton. You are awesome. Thank you for stepping up to the plate and giving us
thank
all
you.
this incredible information.
I'd really like, so this could be clipped. My friend Angela, she's actually a doctor in
Yeah,
education, and
great.
she's really knowledgeable, and she knows a lot of,
Great.
like, the things that go on with the kids, and that's my biggest thing is, like, whatever you do as an adult, do as what you want.
Totally. Totally.
I only knew, like,
Totally.
growing up, 4 people who were gay, and I grew up
Yeah.
in, like, the early 2000s,
Yeah.
and now it's like a boom of it, you know?
It's not even gay, it's everything is trans, it's all trans. Some
Right,
of these kids might be actual gay kids, but the
and
thing
that's
is that they're indoctrinating. When I walk down the street and every fucking building has that damn flag in it, I'm like, "This is weird." I'm
right,
even uncomfortable with it, you know what I like, I don't even wanna see that shit.
right.
It's
Well,
not
and that's
right.
what's crazy too is, like, the teaching of sex ed and all of this stuff. Um,
Yep. Yep.
with kids with autism, they have to do short stories to learn things. Like,
Sure.
my son does short stories, and I
Sure.
do apologize for getting off, like, I'm a tangent follower, so I just go on tangents.
Oh, no, you
But,
didn't get off at all.
so the short stories that they teach 'em, and it was really sexual for a 4th grader, and I was like, "This is inappropriate, I don't want my kids to be
Sick.
taught this." Yeah, and, like, we have one of the only gay governors in the entire USA, and
Wow.
it you know, it shouldn't just be like that. He's pushing all of these agendas because it makes him look
That's
bad.
right. That's right. No, everyone's pushing the LGBTQIA because there's money attached to it. That's why. There's no
Mhm.
other reason why they would ever push this. Gays, we have everything we need. I'm comfortable. I live a great life. I'm not in any way hated by the world at all. I like
Right,
literally built my own. I built everything on my own as a transsexual person before trans was even a thing. So for these people to say, "Oh, we're marginalized," no, bitch. We all fucking work to make sure you got what and now you've literally destroyed the whole thing, and the world hates
right,
us again, like they used to.
right. And
It's
that's why it's
sick.
so mhm,
It's
political
so
things are getting thrown into it now, and
That's right. That's right.
that's what's sad is how hard
It is.
everybody had to fight, and now it's getting dismantled that every gay person is a groomer, every person
That's
that's like
right.
that is a groomer,
That's
and
right.
it'd be like the same as every redhead is a groomer or whatever,
That's
and
right.
so that's not fair.
It's not. It's why I just detached from the trans community, and I openly said I'm no longer a part of that community. That's not my community at all. I don't feel comfortable with those people. They're liars. They're lying to the world. I don't need to lie to you. You know that. You know how many
Right.
times I've had to say I'm a biological female? More than ever. More than my whole fucking life. I literally every day have to say I'm a biological female. Like, who cares? But I have
Right.
to. I actually have to because these people are being taught that biology is a social construct and that everything is a social construct. And like, go fuck yourself. This is not easy. I want to tell these kids this is not easy. I might make it look
Right.
easy, but I have to get up every day and know that I'm a different human being. And sometimes it's not easy to have to deal with that.
Well, and sometimes the struggle is worth the opportunity, right?
That's
Like,
right. That's right.
you struggled through your dysphoria for
That's
however
right.
long, and then you got that ending goal,
That's
um,
right.
and so it's like, why does everything have to be the instant gratification,
Yeah.
which is showing all these kids they could be entitled to whatever they want.
It's such bad behavior. Can you imagine if I just let my kid have whatever the fuck he wanted? It'd be insane. I'm like, no,
Right.
dude, you actually don't get that. But he doesn't even ask because he knows. Like, don't
Right.
even ask because you're not getting it. I am that dad, by the way. Big no.
Same.
Right on. That's actually real parenting, just so you know. I mean,
Oh,
kids need structure. They need to be told no. They need to sort of understand. You have to work for it, dude. I'm not handing it to you. Like, come
well,
on, man.
that's why the school system is in such an array and such a mess, and teachers are leaving by the
Yep.
droves
Yep.
because kids aren't
Yep.
being respectable and they're getting what they want and they just get
That's
to
right.
run amok.
That's exactly right, friend. And it's so what goes up must come down, and what goes down must come up. So maybe
Exactly.
we're finally gonna like get back to normal on some level. We were doing so well before this trans LGBT agenda came into effect. We were just I don't know what these people are talking about. They're full of shit. Like we're not marginalized like we used to be. We do have opportunities. We have so many things. I wouldn't be this person if I didn't have the opportunities like everybody else. But I just never cried about it. I just found my space and did it. And
Right.
that's how you make shit happen. So thanks so much, Amber, for all your time and your energy and your
Thank you. I
love and
appreciate you so much.
yeah, and wanting to really help us get back to a sense of normality. And um, I'm not sure if you want to be contacted or anything. If not, just people can leave comments down here, and then you'll read the comments, and we'll figure that out because you're really gold. There's a lot of people I think struggling with maybe autistic children or that situation.
And I'm an advocate here in Colorado, so maybe I'll be able to leave my information out.
I would love that.
So
It would be great. You would help so many people. So we'll definitely do that. So thanks,
awesome.
Amber. Have a
I
beautiful rest of your
appreciate you.
day. And thanks everybody for joining us. I do appreciate you. Leave Amber some beautiful stuff because she really opened up and told us gold. Oh my God, you guys, we got such good information today. I'm like really, really happy. So remember to like, subscribe, comment. Those really help, get these videos out there. And it means everything to me. I can't do it without you guys. So, well, with that, have a beautiful rest of your day. I'll see you on Wednesday with the live and go and make shit happen, everybody. Right on.